Hey, what up guys? How you doing? It is Lasty here. Welcome to a new episode of the FIFA 19 Ultimate Team Road to Glory here on my channel. This is episode number 163, and in today's episode we need to carry on in the old weekend league to push our way up, because I think we only started it in the last episode, so I know we're slightly behind, but that will be the content for the next couple of days. And I believe there's an SBC that we can do to start this episode off. Not a huge one or anything, but it was actually one that was very good value. It was a FUT Champions Cup one that came out on Saturday. And it didn't require a huge amount. I basically had everything already in the club, so we were all good. And I could just complete it for a rare mega pack. And I think it was an average of about 8,000 coins to do that SBC to get a 55k pack back. So yeah, that's very, very good. Now, unfortunately for us, we don't see the EA Sports sign, so we don't see a walkout, and actually we don't even get boards. So it's cutting it close as to whether that was even worth it in the end, which is very frustrating. Rare mega packs can be so good, because they nearly have, well, let's have a little look. Yeah, they have basically nearly the same amount of players as a 50k pack, plus you get literally like items as well, like squad fitnesses and stuff. So it's just frustrating that we didn't really get anyone good, but there's some rare players there that we can either sell on or keep or use for SBCs and whatnot, as we would do with normal like fodder players. So we're sitting at 3 wins in the weekend league. Started off strong, literally the perfect start, 3-0, and then we go on into our 4th game here, and I'm like, damn dude, you've got a really, really nice squad. This one worried me, because take a look at that team. It looks outstanding. It really does. Very jealous of that Joe Gomez, someone that I couldn't afford at the time. But actually, I would much prefer to use Van Dijk and David Luiz as opposed to David Luiz and Joe Gomez. So, yeah, I mean, as much as I'm jealous because it's a nice card, I still prefer my Player of the Month, Virgil van Dijk. So we go 1-0 up with a nice little goal from Gianfranco Zola. And I just wanted to dispel a little myth that I was super disappointed with my icon. I'm not. I wasn't. I think at the time I genuinely thought I was going to get Del Piero. And that's why a little bit of disappointment might have come in right at that instance. But in reality, this Zola's actually got fairly good stats and is someone that I would happily keep on the road to glory. I'm trying to use him to upgrade to a better icon in like Nedved. But yeah, like he's not. If we can't do that, we can't make that happen, then I'd be fine with keeping him, because he seems like a great little player and he's got nice stats and he's actually one of the usable baby icons, even though like he's only 85 rated and a lot of people might write him off and stuff. He's actually very good in game. So we're 3-0 up in this one, and my opponent does get a really nice goal back, actually, to be fair, with a Ousmane Dembele, which I think this was obviously played on like Saturday before 6 p.m. And in that case, we hadn't had some upgrades come out, which means that like Ousmane Dembele, I think, is one that got upgraded. Like at the moment, he wasn't upgraded because it was hours before that league's winter refresh came around. So yeah, you'll notice that. And obviously this episode has something to do with upgrades. I'll show you what upgrades we got in this episode in a little bit later on, after it actually had taken effect. But the majority of these games were actually played on Saturday afternoon. Yeah, just because obviously I needed to get a lot of games done. Because I'm literally going over the Atlantic and, you know, away for a week. So we're up to 4 wins now, 4-0. Great start. We move on into the next match, and this guy has got a couple of flashbacks. He's got David Luiz and he's got Huntelaar. He's also got Frankie de Jong. And a ones to watch Mara. It's like a nice team, but then there was a couple of players there that I was just like, regular Bobby Firmino at this stage of the game when you've got other players, it seems a bit odd. But I go 1-0 up with that, so I get very lucky with the rebound. And I've never really seen a celebration like that. Is that what happens if you run up to the crowd just behind the goal? You get like a custom animation for your celebration. Oh, that kind of rhymed, didn't it? That was awesome. But my opponent gets a nice goal with Frankie de Jong. He's someone which, again, I kind of wanted at the time, but then never really saw a way to get him into a squad that wouldn't push me down just having to use Eredivisie players, which I don't necessarily want to do. So yeah, we left him out. Now it's 1-1 in this game. I get through with Ronaldo, turn and shoot in the 57th minute, and We go 2-1 up. But Klaas-Jan Huntelaar plays a whopper of a ball out to Mahrez, who whips it in perfectly. And as soon as you see him get his head on that, I'm just like, okay, well, we're going to kick off because he's obviously going to score. It turns out my goalie got a touch on it, but just pushed it into the back of the net more than anything. So, yeah, this game goes into extra time. Now, my opponent somehow scores that. He, like, gets ahead of my defenders. I don't know what's going on. I had to stop after the next game, just because, I mean, I don't know. I feel like I'm almost moaning at the sake of it at this point, but I just felt like in this game, my player switching didn't work very well. Now, I don't know whether that's just me being salty because I've lost a game here, but I just genuinely felt like, why can't I switch to the correct defender when I'm trying to defend? LB wasn't working to the correct player. The analog stick, it just didn't quite feel right, and I don't really want to overall blame that for my loss, but I do think I should have beaten that guy. I had more shots, more on target, and genuinely I thought I outplayed him, but yeah, just a couple of off chances in extra time, which led to me losing. So we lose our first game. Now, you can pretty easily just brush that away. It's not too much of a big deal. It might have been frustrating that I thought I was getting button delay or whatever it was, but hey, we'll just move on, play another game, come up against a good squad here. He's got Roy Keane Prime, he's got Baresi Prime, lots of special cards, so he's obviously a bit of an SBC, I would say SBC merchant, but I think that's what I am, but he's obviously likes an SBC, and as you can see, my defending is just sloppy. Again, whether or not that's, no, we'll just say that my defending was sloppy, you know, we'll own it, and just agree that we weren't playing some amazing FIFA. Good ball to the back post, and obviously Aubameyang's going to rise to head that home. Pretty much already guaranteed to be a goal. I know that I would score that. I would have played that exact same ball. So yeah, you can expect to be 2-0 down at that point. But I had battered him in that half, and I was wondering why things weren't quite going in for me. Felt unlucky in that sense of things, and the 2 shots that my opponent did have flew into the back of the net. But we finally get one back. 55 minutes into this game, Arnautovic is able to get past the defender and strike home at the near post. But, I mean, I couldn't really get back into it. It was at a point where I was starting to really push up and go super attacking because I needed to get that goal. And obviously when that sort of thing happens, your opponent can push forward and one little break can lead to them getting the goal, which just pushes the game a little bit too far ahead of you. I overall in that game thought I battered my opponent and was very unlucky to not win. But so be it, you know, we come away with 2 losses on the bounce. So that's when I stopped. I feel like if you get two losses on the trot, then I feel like you shouldn't carry on. I feel like you should have at least a half an hour break from playing games so you can just reset and stuff like that. So that's what I did, and we come back to the game a little bit later after editing another video or something, and I go 1-0 up in this match against this guy in the luckiest of fashions. Like, that shouldn't, I don't even know if that ball was over the line. Obviously it was because the game gave it, but it just felt like it was ping-ponging everywhere, so I felt quite lucky. But my opponent did get an equaliser, and actually I think he goes ahead right now. Yeah, look at that from Martial. I'm wondering how I've not cleared that, but at the same time, what a beautiful goal from the Frenchman. Like, absolute, he just got on it and smashed it, absolutely biked it. It was brilliant. But some nice play here allows me to get that equalising goal. That's what Zola does really well. Works well within tight spaces because he's so small and agile and stuff. He does a great job in that sense of things, and is quick. If you're not holding sprint with him, he feels quick even like without sprinting, if you know what I mean. Like, his quick touches and movement around is he's very very tricky to deal with. So I turned the game around super fast and then actually get another opportunity to make it like 4-2. So I was 2-1 down not so long ago, and then I just hit him bam, bam, bam with 3 different goals, and it kind of gave me a lot of confidence that we were going to win this match. And then it all got shot away when he comes through and scores right there. Again, I just felt like I'm not defending well enough, and it's definitely frustrating because a 2-goal lead is not quite enough, and then a 1-goal lead is very dangerous, of course. But I get through with Alejandro Gomez there. Good save, but I get super lucky to get the rebound, and it ends at 5-3. So I was able to hold that game out. Again, I think I played better than my opponent. Definitely deserved the win in it, but I'm making it difficult for myself, which is annoying. So we're 5-2 right now. Not the greatest of starts, I'm not going to lie. Having those 2 losses within... I don't like to get a couple of losses within the first 10 games. That's not how I want it to be. But I came back after a certain amount of time, and my AURIER and also my... Who is it? Marcus Alonso. They're the 2 players that have been updated. So actually, that gameplay may have been from Friday. It may have been from the very first day of Foot Champs. I think it was. And then this is when we go into playing games on Saturday, because it was overnight from Friday to Saturday. I know that's days ago for you, but that's the thing. So we actually swap out Eder Militao from left back, just because he's not a default left back, and we'll bring him on at CDM. And we're actually going to try out our upgraded Alonso for the rest of this weekend league, because I want to see if he's going to start being a usable player, someone that I can really rely on. If and when he keeps getting upgrades, he could turn into a complete monster. He needs more pace, obviously, but we're doing our very best with the chem style and stuff. And overall, he's got solid stats, so I think could be an alright player. Good free kick taker, good corner taker and stuff. That's always useful to have. And we can bring a fresh Militao on off the bench. So I go 2-0 up in this game. Nice first goal, really nice second goal. Powerful there from Zola. And it seems as though when you see that pause after 2-0 25 minutes, you think, yeah, the Ronaldo factor's kicked in. He's going to quit here. And he does. So a game which I was, to be fair, dominating, he decides that he's had enough after 2-0. And we get up to our 6th win. So 6-2. I said for the rest of this video, I'd play 2 more games so that I get up to 10 games played. Hopefully can come away with 8-2. But we get matched up against a nice squad here. He's got Messi, he's got Bale, he's got... I can't remember who else it was, but it was a nice squad. Genuinely put a little bit of fear into me just off the players that he had. But I go 1-0 up, and I kind of, again, the word would probably be kind of dominate. Just like, I have a lot of possession, I hold the ball really well against this guy, and then I push it through to Ronaldo there, slot it home, and that again is 2-0. And I don't feel super comfortable, but at least it gives you that leeway to know when to go super defensive if and when your opponent does get the goal. But a lovely dummy there from Zlatan, just feeds it through to such an open Ronaldo, and I'm never going to miss from that shot right there. That one pretty much just hit it on target and you're all right. You can hit it straight at the goalkeeper, I think it's still going to fly in. So that pushes us up to 7, and we go into what is going to be our final game of the episode and get matched up against this. And I'm like, just off the bat, that's a win for me. Like, I should be beating this team. There's a couple of players in there which are very questionable for my opponent. And it's just like, yeah, I should 100% be winning this game. He's someone which probably hasn't really put any money into the game, but is also someone which doesn't play enough to have a squad like ours. Is what I would come away with just looking at that squad. But I pretty quickly make it 2-0, and I can just see a little pause and a rage quit happens there. So we boost up to 8-2 after being 5-2. So that's, one positive that comes out of it. We were 3-0 at the start of the episode, but essentially in today's episode we've gone 5-2. So it could have been better. It could have been a lot worse as well, to be fair. And overall, our player bios and stuff and our records for our players are looking quite good. What are we up to with my better players? So 59 and 34, 95 and 49. Like, Zola's got loads of assists, but isn't really nailing them and scoring lots and lots of goals. Ibra with 92 goals and 43 assists for the club as well. And considering he only ever really plays a half or less than a half, that's good. That's crazy that he's got such a ridiculous goal to game ratio. Now, I had played squad battles a little bit this week, some satellite gold 2 or something, which means that I've been scoring a lot of goals in probably 4 or 5 squad battles matches. And that also means that my Ronaldo goal to game ratio, my Arnautovic, like, they're all slightly skewed with offline gameplay there, but probably to the tune of about 30 goals in total across my entire team. So it might not be super noticeable, but yeah, I have scored an extra bunch of goals just from playing some offline. So yeah, well, hopefully we'll get just a couple of squad battles rewards as well. Every little helps. We get a foot swap player, which will be our final one, enough to get Batshuayi. I need to somehow figure out how to do that, actually. because I might be away by the time that all drops, and I'll have figured it out by the time you're watching this. But yeah, guys, that is going to end the episode today. Do me a favor, hit a thumbs up on this video. I'd really appreciate it if we could get anywhere near 2,000 likes. That'd be awesome. Don't forget, of course, to subscribe to the channel. Come follow me on Twitter and Instagram if you want to see what I'm getting up to this week across the Atlantic Ocean, and I will catch you next time. Peace.